Did I do it right this time? I'll get it right one of these days. Okay, 5 people watching. Okay, where are we now? E in the UK. Hi, Ed. Good news. Betas are flown in Pat. Great timing by you. Fine. Thanks. Good to hear from you, Ian. Andrew Jones. Lux Report. Devil's Den. Reborn Itzy and Betsy. Tony Edwards. Kipax. Yogi Bear. Stephen Gamble. Patriot Sist 1. Asia Overland with Dave. Good evening to you. Dan the Man. Dutch Farang. Nomad Ovaries. Who's that? One Niall M. Plenty of people here. Paul UK. Alan 49. Juan Carlos. Hey, you old Montebar fan. Yeah, okay, whatever. Jack. Jason Harris. Tampa guy. Let's see. It was a Tampa guy 35. Tampa guy 35. Pork pie Mondays. Let's go. Have a guess what's on the menu. The return of an old favourite. There you go. That's the Tesco variety, Melton Mowbray style. Okay, so that's coming up later. You don't want to miss that, do you? Yes, Poppycorn. Hiya, didn't think we were on tonight. Good stuff. Looking forward to the show. Thanks, mate. I'll tell you what, Poppycorn. My head's been fairly wrecked the last week or so. You know, things happen to throw a span in the works, and you never get around to doing what you want to do. Club fillers, good to hear from you. Is that really? Are you in Brazil, Barry? Are you in Brazil, Rio? Really, I'd like to hear from you. Okay. So, Poppy, what was I saying? So, there's 82 people in the chat now. Dixie Enormous, Nigel Hyde. Great to see all you guys there. If I've missed anyone out, apologies, but it's really great. To have you there on a Monday evening. This is a sort of a little discussion. It's still very, very quiet on the travel front right now. There's nothing really exciting. You know, the onion variant, is that being discovered in Thailand? Yeah, I think they've had it. You know, we'll probably discuss later if they discover the onion variant. Is it going to make a big difference? I hear that the Thai Prime Minister says no, it isn't. But, expect anything. You never know what's going to happen. So anyway, it's only 4 weeks to go before I'm scheduled to be on a flight to Thailand. I'm looking forward to it, but, I'm not building my hopes up. Things can happen. They've happened before. Just 4 weeks to go. A couple of weeks ago, I said, it's 6 weeks to go. And I've got to start doing things. I cannot lead into the last minute. And I remember saying then, if I do one thing this particular week, then I've got to get that third booster. Now, I know it's not entirely necessary just yet for travel, but I think it will be necessary. Done and dusted. I got the booster. So the following week, I promised that's the week that I'm going to do that Thailand pass. But something happened, didn't it? On the Friday morning, all within the space of about an hour, there was good news and bad news. The good news was that Thailand has dropped the PCR, the hotel stay, the Shah hotel, all that kind of stuff, and allowed us to get in there with a rapid antigen test. And then about an hour after that news broke, something else broke. The onion virus is being declared. So they backtracked on all of that, and now you still got to say in the Shah. So to cut long story short, I still have not done my Thai pass yet. This is the week when I've got to do it. So let's see. Asian Paradise, nice to hear from you. Paul Wildman getting the 7:50 Qatar flight in the morning. 7:50 Qatar flight, not being an absolute baltuish. Yeah, whatever. Getting the 7:50 Qatar flight in the morning. So are you at the airport now? Because it's 7:50. I mean, if it's UK time, that's not that far away. Are you on the way to the airport? Good luck to you, mate. Good luck to you. Asian Paradise, nice to hear from you. Happy as Larry. Mark Oller, great to hear from you, mate. Nice to hear from you. Good evening at bloody cold here in Minnesota. I can imagine so. It probably looks great, all that snowy landscape. It probably looks fantastic, but the cold is definitely not for me. I think England is bad enough. Devil's Den, first onion case in Thailand yesterday. Yeah, well, Is this going to, it's worrying. It's worrying. Things seem to be getting better, but as soon as they have one case of the onion, and apparently they have got it, it was only a matter of time. Are they going to reverse on all the good stuff that they've done in the last week or so? Triple, great names here. Triple waxed and nowhere to go. Big up, Eddie, the Melton Mowbray, massive. Do you know something? Do you know what I've been meaning to do for quite some time now? The last time I looked at it was in Cambodia. Consider it a full body wax. I mean, an absolute total, full frontal, no holds barred, every hair off the body, every last hair. I'm a hairy. Anyone who's seen some of my videos, I've got hairs up my arms and underarms, and it's when you sweat, especially when you sweat, but this big buzz. When you go along Pattaya, somewhere like that, and you see these old geezers. Well, I'm an old geezer as well. You see these old geezers with the shirt off, and they've got big, bushy, hairy, grey chests. Oh Christ, I don't want to do that. I've been thinking about that. Maybe just. Maybe go full frontal and just get the whole lot of it off. I hate body hair. I'm a naturally hairy person and I hate it. But I even hate getting a shave. I mean, I shave twice a week now. This isn't one of those times that I've shaved. So where were we? Johnny B, Eddie, great news for you. I really hope you get to go. I hope I get to go as well. So what good news has happened? Is there any good news in Thailand overall? I think I don't accept that what's happened in Pattaya is really good news. Okay, they're relaxing alcohol. They're allowed to serve alcohol in restaurants. Do you go to Pattaya to spend time in restaurants? I don't. I mean, what way, shape, or form are those restaurants are they gonna sneak go-go dancers in there? Are they gonna sneak a live band in there? I don't want to, sound miserable, but it doesn't sound that good to me. And apparently, you can drink up until 11 o'clock at night now. Well, whoopee-doo. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't even go out until 11 o'clock at night. Sorry to be miserable, but, it doesn't sound that exciting to me. Betty Swallow, so much for getting jabs to get things back to normal. Yeah, I agree, mate. I thought, I have the first couple of jabs. That's it, free to go, no problems. doesn't actually work that way. How about the third jab? We'll see. Fourth one's on the cards. Poppycorn, the UK government relying on the World Health Organization for information. What the bloody hell does Roger Daltrey know about Antarctica? Has he made a song about them? Roger Daltrey? It's funny, isn't it, how these septuagenarian and octogenarian rock stars crawl out of nowhere. They've had an amazing past, but why can't they just let it be? Occasionally they'll crawl out of nowhere and make a political statement like as if they've got nothing better to do. I haven't heard that one about Roger Daltrey. I haven't heard it. Tick's enormous. Did my Thai pass yesterday, Ed. Got the confirmation in 10 seconds. That is great. That's terrific. Now, the encouraging word is that the Thai pass is no longer the big problem it was when it first appeared last month. Apparently there was all kinds of gremlins. It was being hacked. It was being this, that, and the other. And people who were very, very computer literate or even experts in computers seem to be having problems with it. But apparently a lot of those problems are being smoothed down. I'm hoping it's 4 weeks to go for my travel. The one thing that I've got to do this week, and I've been a little bit lethargic about it. I can't leave the last minute. I've got to get that Thailand pass done and dusted this week. So after this week, if I can get that Thailand pass done and dusted, what it means, I've got to book an SHA hotel before I attempt the Thailand pass. So that's the first thing I've got to do. The Thailand pass. Hopefully I can get that done and dusted. And then the next week, seriously thinking, I'm scheduled for 90 days, but we're just under 90 days in Thailand to think about a 90-day visa. But there could be a way out of that. There could be, Cambodia. We'll see. Martin White. Let me just say hello to on call first of all. Hello on call. Nice to hear from you. Here's to Thailand, mate. All the best. Cheers, mate. Hope all's well in Australia. Martin White left England last Wednesday until March. Everything is open here. Amazing women, also, as you know. Well, that sounds good. That sounds good. Dixie Knobs, upload the QR codes. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Brian Hudson, hi Eddie, can you say hello to my friend Chris? He's a big fan of yours. Hello, Chris. How you doing, buddy? Okay, nice to hear from you. Okay. Tits, the type pass is easy to complete if you have all your documents ready. That's the thing. You've got to get all your documents ready. I haven't even attempted it yet. I know that you've got to. I think this is what stalled me the other week. 1 minute, the good news is we don't need to do that first night's quarantine hotel anymore. And then 5 minutes later, yeah, you do need to do it now. They changed the matter. I think this is what threw me now. You've got to have that first night's hotel. I'll get it done and dusted. I'll try and do that tomorrow. And, you know, before this week's out, I hopefully I will have the Thai pass, you know, I will retain that one. Coco Road. Coco Road, still having, I think you mean still haven't started my Thai pass and they fly out next Sunday. Get it done, mate. Worst thing, and I'm pretty terrible for this myself. The worst thing you do is leave things to the last minute. Do not leave things to the last minute. Don't do that under any circumstances. Get it done there, mate. Patriotist. I am not traveling if I need to get forced jab and do many tests. Just not worth the squeeze. I've said this before, I'll say it again. There are some people who have the attitude of, I can't be doing the hassle, all of this kind of stuff. I'm just going to wait until it all blows over. And if it never does, then so be it. But I simply can't be bothered with all that hassle. And anyone who thinks that, I don't blame you. I really do not blame anyone who says, I'm just not prepared to up any of this rubbish, all this hassle. I'm just not doing it. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I've got to do it because I love my travel and I love my YouTube channel. And I really, 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 really want to get out there and start making videos in Thailand and Cambodia and maybe somewhere else where, you know, whatever. I really, really, really want to get out there and do that. I'm eager to go. You know, I've done these live streams for the last year or maybe year and a half or whatever. Can't go on talking about it. I've got to get out there and do it. So it's important for me. You know, I will be absolutely gutted if anything happens within the next 4 weeks and I cannot be on that airplane. You know, a few people said to me, don't worry, Ed, you can always delay your flight over. I don't want to delay anything. I've delayed things, but I don't want to delay anything. I do not want to delay anything. I want to be on that flight in 4 weeks' time. I want to be let loose on Thailand and you know, those places. I don't want to delay anything. Life's too short to delay things. Let's see. Even Ed, looking sharp. Eddie does 20 stone women up the bum. Have you booked your test? Do you know something? I have not booked any tests. Do you know something? The one thing more than a Thailand pass or anything that still gets up my nose, I just can't cope with it, is that bloody within 72 hours of flying. It's not necessarily 72 hours within flying. It's 72 hours within arriving in the other country. You know, it's just too much stress. It's too much stress there. I mean, when we're going to get that, we're going to get that done in boots. I've got to sort that out. But it's that within 72 hours. That is just so. That's the kind of hassle that I simply can't do. That's the worst bit of it for me. You know that PCR test. No older than 72 hours. If, like he said, you know, you've got to do your PCR 2 weeks before, great and all that. But within 72 hours, and then you've got all this traveling to do, it's too much hassle there. It's too much hassle. Let's see. Johnny Bear, what's the vlog earlier on Koh San Road and around Bangkok? The bars are starting to open. That sounds good. I don't go to Koh San Road. That's not my. Every time I've inquired about that place, people have said don't bother. It's apparently it's for young backpackers or something, that place. But Nana, I really, really do like Nana a lot, and I'm hoping that, you know, Nana is rocking and rolling by the time I get out there. Let's see. Daniel Kelly, Eddie, did you fix your car? Oh, don't bloody mention that. I've been having problems with my car. I thought it was going to be the big one, the gearbox. I thought it was going to be the gearbox. My car's an automatic, by the way. I thought it was going to be the gearbox. Apparently, they filled it full of, yeah, they've changed the gearbox. Oh, there's a little bit of a leak somewhere, and it's okay, but it's. I mean, cars worry me more than anything. The amount of money that you can easily spend £2,000-3,000 on a new gearbox for your car. Sometimes that's where more than your car is. That's been giving me a major headache. But yeah, I've got my car up and running again. And I mean, where I live in a sort of rural part of England, you really do need a car. You can't live without one. You just if you rely on public transport, it's a disaster. Ross, Edward, you give me hope that I will travel to foreign parts next year. No more bingo, ladies. Cheers. Do you know something? One of the most, I know I make jokes about 20-stone women and all of that. It's all in good fun. But do you know a phrase about the woman's form where it's decaying and sagging and all this? A phrase that always turns my bloody stomach. Oh, I hate the phrase. This kind of sounds like I hate the phrase bingo wings. Bingo wing. Oh, that's a horrible. Oh my God, that's a bloody. I don't know why. Don't ask me to explain. I just think that phrase is bloody awful. Gareth, before you do a full body wax, watch the film 40-Year-Old Virgin. What's the film 40? Well, I've never actually seen that. I've never actually seen that film because obviously it doesn't apply to me. I'm not 40 years old. But well, I don't know. If it's on Netflix, I might have a little peek at it. Tony Edwards, full body wax will hurt, especially when your hair areas an ape. A full body wax will. It probably does. I have spoke to some guys who've done it, and they said, "Oh, it was bloody horrendous." They said it was absolutely one of the most painful things. I've never. There's a lot of hair on my body, and I've never actually done that before. Never ever done it. I once dragged a bloody cold razor across my chest. I mean, to get some of the jungle out of there. But I did inquire about it in Phnom Penh a couple of years ago, and it was about equivalent about 80 quid in English money. And I thought, I don't know, maybe. But what happens if you wax your body? What happens? Does it grow back again? I mean, if I will be prepared to spend the money and suffer the pain and the anguish to get rid of all the hair and everything. But does it grow back again? I don't know. I've never done it. I've never actually done it. Maybe I will. Asian Overland with Paul UK. This time next week, I'll be sat at Heathrow waiting for an early morning flight. Normally, I'll be buzzing now, but so much uncertainty does put a damper on it. Yeah, I'm exactly the same. Exactly the same, mate. Thai Leeds, I fly on Wednesday. Good luck to you, mate. Ed likes being pegged. Looking lovely, Ed. Okay, thank you. Thanks for that. I do. It's my shampoo. It's my new shampoo. I use. Do you remember the phrase in the 70s? It became a popular advertising phrase: alcohol-free shampoo. Alcohol. What the hell is alcohol-free shampoo? Now my hair is the only part of my body that's sober because I wear alcohol-free shampoo. Asian Overland with Dave. Just shaved my chest today. Can't stand grey hair. Can't imagine the women like it either. Oh my God! Oh my! It's I've got to do it sometime. I've got to do that sometime. Remove all that hair. I've got to do it. But someone tell me. Somebody tell me, please. If you do get your body actually waxed, does that mean that it doesn't grow back again, or what happens then? Is that the end of it, or do you have to get it done over and over again? I don't know. What is it? Who's going mad to dump it is better? Oh, sorry, I didn't get that. Sorry, I didn't get that. It was a popping gun. I didn't get the joke if that was what it was. I'm a bit slow tonight. He's being sarcastic. Who is the World Health Organizer? Yeah, okay. I didn't get the joke. I thought you were talking about the World Health Organization. I didn't dig at the connection with Roger Daltrey. Funny enough. I know. It's actually pretty good, though. It's actually pretty good. Yeah, okay, yeah, probably good. Sorry about that. I'm a bit slow with that one. Zach Kinsella, so what are the requirements to go to Vietnam vaccine and stuff? I don't know. Have you heard much about Vietnam recently? Last time I looked and everything was closed everywhere. And then I haven't been paying much attention to Vietnam. I think maybe because I did quite a lot of Vietnam personally on my last journey through Southeast Asia. So, I don't really know a great deal about what's happening in Vietnam. But I think Thailand and Cambodia will be quite enough for me. Quite enough for me. Let's see what happens. Hang on a minute. Wait a minute. Willy Wonka. Okay, you don't have to book hotel at. You only need a test. A PCR test. No, I think you do need to book a hotel. I think they went back. They changed it, didn't they? A couple of weeks ago, they changed it, and then 5 minutes later, they changed it back again. Because of the announcement of this onion variant. You just never know what's going to happen. Now, as far as I know, at this moment in time, to get into Thailand, you do need your first night's hotel. It may not be a full night until the results come back. David R., the onion variant detected in Thailand today. Oh well. It had to happen. It had to happen. Andrew Jones, the cheapest SHL Plus hotel in Bangkok is now £76 a night. But is it any good? Griggles answered, Ed, when is best he heading over to Thailand? As far as I know, February. It'll be good to see him there. I might be in Cambodia. I don't know. I don't know what happens. But I believe he's heading over there. I do believe that he's heading over there in February. Crispy 1963. We all know exactly what you're missing, Getty. We all know exactly what you're missing, Getty. Yeah, I'm missing the hot weather and the spicy food. Pal 555. There could be a lockdown in the new year. There could be a lockdown in the next 5 minutes. You just never. When you switch the news on, you just never know what's happening next. This is the disturbing thing about it. All as I know is what my flight is scheduled for 4 weeks' time. I'm hoping. I'll celebrate when I'm there, not before. Joshua Langley, no idea, mate, but I was told that the flights from Heathrow to Bangkok and return flights won't be taken off stale. Are you talking about direct flights? My flight isn't a direct flight, by the way. It's reputable airliners, not a direct flight. Daniel Mills, nice to hear from you. Brian Hudson, this new onion variant, despite it being 10 times more infectious than, yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to be discussing the health issues and all that kind of stuff. You're not really supposed to be doing that on YouTube. I have a guest coming on very, very soon this evening. So what we're going to do, with tonight, there's not a great deal happening. There's a lot of uncertainty. It's Monday night in the UK. It's dull. It's been piddling down with rain all day. It's really, really depressing. It's probably depressing wherever you are right now. It's winter. So I'm going to bring a guest on soon. You've seen him before, David. He's a cool guy. And we're going to maybe discuss a few things. A little bit of late night chat. It doesn't do any harm. Bobby Crush, do not mention Eddie's car. You just did. Okay. Actually, it's nice to have it up and running again, but I was quoted, if I want to replace the gearbox, a reconditioned gearbox, 2,600 quid for basically a lump of metal. That's what it is. Cars worry me more than anything. They really, really do. Yeah, Tree Town. Okay, Tree Town. Ed, what's your favourite tipple in Thailand? I drink Heineken. Really. I'm not really fond of the Thai beer. Singer and what's the other one? Leo and what's the other one? Can't even remember what it is. The other one. I'm not really a big fan. Even Singer, but Heineken is often a similar price, or maybe only fractionally more expensive. I tend to drink Heineken when I'm in Thailand, but I do like these Sang whiskey. I quite like that as well. David Kane and Willie Wanker, you do need a share hotel if you arrive in Bangkok. Yeah, that's exactly that's what I understand as well. William Zeta will take about a fortnight to wax that body of yours. Oh, I'd look forward to all that. Not the way it looks, not the cosmetic side of things. Just when you sweat in Auckland, the sweat gets in. Oh, Jesus. I would like to get rid of that. I must admit. I would like that to be a thing in the past. No one's told me yet, by the way, what happens if you do go the whole lot and have a full body wax. When do you have to have it done again? Or do you ever, I haven't heard anyone mentioning that. I don't know the script with it. Wonder at 2998. Did you see on MSN some girl on I'm a Celebrity was after them letting her wash her knickers? She said they. I like the word knickers, but all the rest of the stuff that he said, I didn't like. That's a bit vulgar for me. I'm afraid. Mark Alec, how about some beer shampoo? That sounds good. That's what they used to advertise. All these crazy advertising phrases in the past. Alcohol-free shampoo. It was a trendy thing. What was that other one that got on my bloody nerves? Do you know these things come about every few years? And all of a sudden, everyone's using this phrase. It's promoted. You don't hear it so much now, but about 5 or 6 years ago, everyone started using the phrase pulled pork. That's what it is. Even outside like a fast food place like Subway, they had a sign saying pulled pork. I don't. What the hell's pulled pork? Does that mean? I pull me pork when I'm bashing the bishop. You know what I mean? But what the hell is pulled? I think it's as I understand, pulled pork, you cook it so slowly and then whatever. But this everywhere you look in a few years ago, you heard this bloody phrase pulled pork. It was on fast food signs. It was trendy thing to have pulled pork. I mean, no one's using it now because it was. They probably realized it was a bit of a daft phrase. I don't know what pulled pork is. I've never heard of it before, but it's crazy how these things go in cycles really. Daniel Kelly, Ed, I'm doing the full package on Royal Vacation Tours. Includes Pattaya Hotel, Maxi and taxi from airport and to send flight. Just send flight, no passport and NHS pass, and they do it over 10,000 baht. That sounds interesting. Well, good for you, mate. Good for you. Good for you. Dutch Farang, it will grow back after one wax, Ed. How long does it take to grow back? I mean, I know everyone's different, but for the hairy, not the hairy, but how long does it? A11965. It not only grows back, Eddie, it's even thicker and buttier. Oh my God, that just killed it for me. What's the bloody point? If I'm going to go through the pain and the blood, sweat, and tears of having a body wax and paying the money for it, I want that to be the end of it. I want that to be absolutely the end of it. If it grows back, then what's the bloody point? Ugh. Cali T, it grows back, not as thick. Get electrocuted for permanent hair. Is that what you say? Getting electrocuted for permanent hair review may take a few sessions. Okay. Bronx, 3 to 4 weeks, you'll see your hair growing back. No, that's not good. No, I don't want that. Rusty Lid, don't wax, get a Cambodian 6-handed body shave with a happy ending, $60 in non-pen. Now that sounds better somehow. That does actually sound better. It does sound better. Well, let's see. I'm going to get a guest on in a moment. I'm going to get a guest on in a moment. Right. I'm going to get a guest on. Okay. Let's see if I can get a guest on. Where's my guest? Where's my guest? I'm going to get a guest on anyway. You've seen him before, and he's a good guy, and he's got a lot to talk. And we'll talk together because I'm pretty sure that he will. Let's have a look at the look at the chat. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, so hopefully we can get a guest on soon. Well, hopefully we can get a guest on soon. Yes, Wiggle there said pulled pork sounds X-rated. But yeah, it sounded like a bloody. Everyone was using this phrase a few years. I seen it on restaurants episode. We do pull, but when some dickhead somewhere decides I'm going to make this thing trendy, it's going to be trendy, and before you know it, everyone's bloody using the phrase that that's it's. Oh, I don't know. People are stupid there. The throbbing thumb. You pulled your pork after the '70s vampire movie. I actually pull my pork during a '70s vampire movie, especially if it's got Ingrid Pitt in it. David R. The end of it is laser dollars. Laser. Oh, I've got to do something. It would be nice. It would be nice to have a smooth skin. Mighty Reds 76. Evening, Steady Eddie. Have you started your Thailand pass yet? With 4 weeks to go. No, I haven't started. But I'm going to do it this week. I'm going to do it this week. Tomorrow, I will be booking the Shah Hotel, and after that, once I've got that, I'll get my documents together and I will attack that Thailand pass. It's good to see that a lot of people are saying that they don't have that many problems with it right now. Poppycorn, I think if you start waxing, you might get addicted. Next year, you were Mrs. Doubtfire sitting on Soi 16. That's all that. Okay, that sounds good. Okay, let's see. How was my guest? I'm just going to check on Facebook. How was my guest doing? How was my guest doing here now? Let's see. Okay. Let me just see. Let's see if we can get it this time. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Did you get it that time? Did you get it that time? Did you get it that time? This is. Let me see now. Let me see. Thailand back. Oh, so yeah, somebody's coming on. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to have a guest on in a moment. So for the moment, now let me tell you something. I'm going to put a message on to say squeaky door. I'm just going to quickly do squeaky door time. I've actually put together a nice little video for a couple of minutes, but I don't know. I don't trust YouTube. I don't. It wouldn't surprise me if YouTube object to it. It features nice ladies with not many clothes on, that sort of thing. So I'm going to have to play it safe for the moment and put squeaky door time. See you in a minute. Yo. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Okay. So let's get to the chat. Let's get to the chat. Oh no, he's back. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Now I've had some good guests on recently. It's this guy you've seen before. He's not a YouTuber, but he's got a lot to talk about. He's a really really interesting guy. So I'd like you to give a big hand once again to Big Dave. How are you, Big Dave?
Hey, we're here, Ed.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Nice to hear from you. You've got a Singer hat. Funny enough, a moment ago we were discussing Thai beer. Do you really, really like Singer? Do you
No,
really?
I actually hate it.
Yeah, I'm not so keen on it either. I must admit, I'm
I'm a
not
Leo fan.
I haven't actually used that much lately. I think I did once or twice. What's the other one? There's three, isn't there?
Leo and Chong.
Chang, yeah, absolutely. If it is cold on a hot day in a hot climate, cold beer, icy cold beer, hot climate, absolutely fantastic. But Singer seems to me to be the main one, the most widely regarded one. But I'm not keen on it.
The tourists like Sing, but most Thais drink Leo.
Yeah. What do you know about Heineken out there, Dave? The
You
fact is
know,
that Heineken in a lot of places is the same price.
I
And yet,
actually don't like Heineken.
strangely enough, I don't know what the reason for this is, but the Heineken that I taste in Thailand tastes better than the Heineken elsewhere. So I wonder, is it brewed the same or is it a different brewery? I don't really,
It's
I've never really investigated that.
yeah, it's probably
But
made over there.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I'll tell you what else is. I'll tell you what else is really well. You get Heineken in Vietnam as well,
Yeah.
and it's it pleases. I just think it's all round. It's better than Singer.
Well, the
I mean, I've
Thais
tried
like
whatever.
to the Thais like to drink Heineken because they call it high so. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
back in the day, 20 years ago, Heineken was like the top beer. Like they just got that in, and everyone wanted to be seen drinking an imported beer.
yeah, yeah. I must admit the worst Heineken I've had is probably in Amsterdam. I think it is a Dutch. I think it's a Dutch. I think they've got they've got the Heineken brewery there, but it just tastes better in Thailand. Maybe it tastes better in a really hot climate. But I like to say Singer. I'd wear a Singer hat. It looks very, very nice on you, Dave. But I'm not really a big fan of that.
I wore it for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I'm sure you're doing quite well for yourself, mate. Anyway, so how's things with you anyway? What are you up to these days?
Oh, still sitting idle here, waiting to get on that airplane. I'm not as brave as you about
Yeah,
going so soon. I've actually got a few what you call health issues going on,
we
so
all have.
I
I think.
gotta fix a few things before I go there.
So let's just talk first of all about the situation in Thailand. Basically, are you optimistic or pessimistic? Someone like me who has a flight booked in 4 weeks' time, do you think I'm going to be on it?
That's up to you. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't go, but you're a lot braver than me. I mean, I have a German friend that got there a month ago, and
Yeah.
he's having a great time. But
Well, there's a lot of people in the chat who are booting flight. Somebody, it echo what I said. Some guy before, I can't remember his name. He said, I'm going there next Wednesday, but like you, I'm not celebrating just yet. I'll celebrate when I'm there. It's a sad situation. It's a terrible situation, one that I never ever thought that I'd face, when you can book a flight on the internet, and instead of celebrating, fantastic, can't wait, you think to yourself, okay, it's in the bag, but we'll just wait and see. It does not put you in a good frame of mind.
well,
All of this,
if you
buddy.
if you want to know the truth at it, it's not Thailand that's scaring me off right now. It's the actual flying there. I just don't want to go through. For me on the West Coast, it takes me a good 24 hours to get there. I don't have that luxury of having a one quick direct flight from the UK to Bangkok like most people in Europe do.
Yeah,
I've got to do a transit in either Korea or Japan, and I just don't want to be sitting there flying with a mask on for
yeah.
20 hours and doing all this paperwork and tests. I'm just hoping that kind of eases up.
Yeah,
soon.
Dave, I said this before, but it's still, but people are moaning about the Thai pass and various other. Still, the thing that bothers me more than I just don't trust that within 72 2 hours PCR test, and it's not necessarily within 72 hours of flying. It's within 72 hours of arriving in the other country, which means it's yeah, it's very as if traveling long distance, long haul isn't stressful enough without having to deal with that.
Well, look at the U.S. We just changed it to 24 hours today. So, yeah.
Within the U.S., of course, domestic flights.
No, coming back, if you are out of the country and anybody coming to the U.S. right now must have a test within 24 hours of the flight.
No older than 24 hours?
That's right. So and it has to be a PCR. So how are you going to get that PCR test? A lot of other countries, here in LAX, you can go and get one in 20 minutes and pay $250. A lot of other airports in a lot of countries, they're not set up to do all that rapid testing.
Yeah. I did it a couple of months back, right? And it was a thing that was worrying me. I did it a couple of months back before I flew to Crete. Now, I went all the way to Stansted Airport, which is a long bus journey from where I did. It's good value, but it was okay. And basically on site, I've never been to Stansted Airport, but it's quite a small airport. It's not in the League of Heathrow or something like that. And it actually went quite well. I got my PCR test and they emailed it to me within about 1.5 hours. But I wasn't worried so much. I was still worried, but I wasn't worried so much then, because that flight from London to Crete was only a short flight. It wasn't an expensive flight either,
right.
And I wasn't going to worry about it too much. With regards to from London to Bangkok, 2 airplanes, it's a much longer flight, and I am worried about it. I just, if they said to me you've got to have a PCR test a week before or 2 weeks before, I'd do it, not a problem. I just don't trust the idea. It's too stressful now, this idea, but that's for me. That's the worst bit about it.
If I can get to Thailand, in half the time it would take me, I would go, but I don't really want to sit there and wear a mask and do all this stuff for 24 hours. It's just a nightmare for me.
Yeah. It depends what mask you wear. So, some masks are more comfortable than others. The worst ones, which I've stopped using, are those bloody surgical masks, those cheap and nasty ones. If you can get a better mask, a bigger mask, then if it becomes more comfortable, then it's more bearable. Can I just say to the chat, a few people are in the chat here. Hello to Thailand Bound. Peter, nice to hear from you, Peter. I will be appearing on Peter's live stream on Friday evening at about 9:30 UK time. So I'm looking forward to that. Peter was on here last week, and he's a really charming guy. He's English. Do you know Peter there, David? Thailand Bound?
Oh yeah, I know him. I've seen his channel.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good channel. And he was on this show last week, and it went down well. As far as my interviewing skills go, I've still got a lot to learn. Some people said, you should let your guests talk more and you talk less. And
well, your name actually came up the other day on Trevor's channel. Buzzin' Pattaya.
Oh yeah, really? Yeah.
Yeah, people were telling him to, because I talked to Trevor a lot in email and stuff, and I told him I was going to be on your channel tonight, and so he said he was going to check it out.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, that's good. I think he is definitely one of the success stories. In fact, it looks to me like Peter from Thailand Bound and Trevor are the 2 real success stories of this year. I know that there are others. No, to be fair, there are others, but they're the 2 that I actually watch. Their channels have really grown really well. And
and then there was that Kevin Thailand. I used to go to his bar hangouts at the Hideout bar there when I was in town.
Yeah.
But, we all know what, he's not with us anymore.
Yeah. Life's full of surprises, Dave. We don't want to get into that kind of talk, but I mean, I was absolutely gutted. I used to watch his channel a lot. Where when I still watch the occasional video now, But a lot of people have a lot of affection for Kevin Thailand. He was dealt a terrible blow. It can happen to any of us, really.
He
So
was a nice
you,
guy, and he was really good on the camera and his channel. Talked really well. That's the only
yeah,
reason I don't have a YouTube channel. Just I can't sit there and talk to a camera and everything. It's just not me.
yeah. It doesn't appeal. It doesn't appeal to everybody. It doesn't appeal to everyone. But yeah, Kevin Thailand. A lot of people remember it well. So God bless Kevin Thailand. Okay.
One of the things
Paul
I wanted
Ferry.
to talk about for a few
Yeah,
minutes, and you can squeeze it in, was what I call the golden years of Thailand.
yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So refresh my memory. How long have you been going to Thailand? When was your first trip over there?
I think it was about within a few months. It was about 20 years ago. It was about
Okay,
20.
so you and me are about the same. So I started in 99 going over there.
Yeah, yeah,
So if you remember back in the what we call the aughts, 2000 to 2010,
yeah.
that's what I consider the golden years of going to Thailand. And the reason is, if you remember back, everything was open, everyone was happy, everything was
Oh,
good. And now you see, not because of COVID, I'm talking the 5-8 years since the current administration took over
yeah.
there, businesses started declining. You go back and every other shop now has a for let sign on there,
Yeah.
and everybody's disgruntled and angry at the government.
Mm.
It's a big change. I used to enjoy Thailand so much more in the
It's
2000s than now.
yeah. It's even a place like Walking Street, and I
Yeah,
was staying in a hotel there, by Walking Street, with not a long way away. Walking Street seemed to me to be. It was far more. It was far more intimate. Far more. Well, intimate's the word. It was great. It seemed smaller. So I know it's the same size now as it was then. I know that sounds crazy, but you pass bars, and within like 1 or 2 nights, the people in the bars said they remembered you from the previous night. And I went in Peter. I think I went in January or February, 2002. I think that was my first visit. But it seemed more intimate then. Everyone seemed to be more friendly, whereas now it seems a little bit colder, a little bit cold. But then again, you've got other things which you didn't have then. Other things now which you didn't have then. Soi Cowboy area. No, I never went to this. I don't know what. I went to the Soi Cowboy years later. It was always Walking Street for me. But now Soi Cowboy has come up. I don't really know when Soi Cowboy area really took off. I don't really know, but it's a cheaper alternative to Walking
it's
Street.
for the guys that live there, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Tourists is for the walking street,
It is. It's so become. I mean, it's not a nice place. I think that's being subtle about it, but it's basically got so much that you want. Like it's. I can't put it into Super Cow reminds me of a sort of rundown council estate where somebody's built loads of bars and massage parlors there. If you look around the environment of Super Cow, come on, let's be honest, a lot of it is really quite ugly, but it's got everything there that you want, and I can
without all the overhead.
I can tolerate Sober Cow, that area, and all those side streets for a while. But sooner or later, I must admit, I do like to get to the more touristy area of Walking Street, because at the end of the day, what anyone says, Walking Street is more expensive, but you get what you pay for. The quality of the go-go bars and the quality of the live bands is better. Come on, some of those live bands, I think, is it the what's it? I can never remember. It's the Coco Bar, the nightclub with the live band. There's lots of them there. They are absolutely terrific. They are terrific. They are a better quality than anywhere in the Soi Cow area. If you like live bands, so
and
I
also,
don't. I don't begrudge paying a bit more for Walking Street personally.
Since the government started clamping down on so many things, I don't know. You remember the old ping pong show, right, Ed? I don't know if you ever went to one, but
no.
They're basically all scams now. You go in there and you get ripped off. But 20 years ago, they were a legitimate thing. You went in, you bought a beer for 50, 60 baht, and you sat there and you did. Now you go in there and they shove a 3,000 baht bill in your face in order to let you leave because the police outlawed them.
Was Dave? Was this in Pat Pong,
Yeah, they have them in Pat Pong.
but also Pattaya?
The one I went to was in Pat Pong. I don't.
Yeah.
They might have them in Pattaya, and they're
Well,
still there in Pat Pong, but they're
the
scammed
thing
now.
is, Dave, I have to say, I've never actually bothered visiting Pat Pong. There's two places in Bangkok that are really famous that I've never ever got round to going there. One of them is Pat Pong, and the other is Koh San Road. I've never been to either of those places. Every time I've mentioned to people, I dropped a comment on maybe a Bangkok 112 video.
Yeah,
I've said that I know Nana Soi 4 very, very well in Bangkok. I've also been to Soi Cowboy quite a bit. Is there anything I'm missing out on by not going to Pat Pong or Koh San Road?
Well, for me,
everyone's always come back and said, no, you're not missing anything.
When I stay in Bangkok, I actually stay just 2 blocks away from Pat Pong, so there's some decent stuff there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're near there, but a lot of people like going over to Nana.
Yeah.
And
that's good.
Soi Cowboy, but Soi Cowboy is a lot of ladyboys over there.
It's also very overrated. There's not much to Soi Cowboy, but
there's not much there.
No.
But Pat Pong's worth you to visit, yes.
Personally, I think that Soi Cow. No, what am I talking? No, I meant to say, I personally think that Soi Cowboy is nowhere near as good as Walking Street in Pattaya.
Oh,
Walking Street and all the street that's miles better at a better price as well.
Night and day difference.
I mean, one of my favorite rock shows, my favorite go-go bars, you can call it what you will, in Pattaya, was Angel Witch, and I'd been there many, many, many times, and I loved it. I thought the place was clean, it was brilliantly organized, the girls are fantastic, it was a great rock show. I was gutted when that place went. I don't know whatever happened to the Angel Witch in Pattaya, but later on I went to Angel Witch in Bangkok and found that it was nowhere near in the same league, not as good. Wow. So but Soi Cowboy, but Pat Pong, with regards to the classic images of women shooting ping pong balls out of their anatomy, and I bet bananas and other kind. Honestly, I actually don't want to see that. You can call me dull. I probably am dull. I probably am very, very dull, but I really, 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 I don't want to see that. For me, that is not feminine. I don't want to see that. I did
it once just to mark it off the list. It was my first trip in Bangkok, and you got to do it once. I've never been back to one again.
No, but I mean, Pat Pong is notoriously a rip-off, I should say.
Oh no, Pat Pong, you don't notoriously get ripped off there. There's a lot of straight up places there.
Yeah. Well, maybe pay it a visit one, but I don't know what I could do there. I would only go to Pat Pong if I felt I could make an interesting video for my YouTube channel.
Oh, you definitely can. You definitely can, because also remember, Pat Pong is a big night market. Yeah. So at night they set up the big night market right there between all the stuff. So I actually like to hang around there and do a little bit of copy shopping,
Yeah. Well, but like I say, when I've dropped comments on videos, I mean, every time I've said, I know, Nana Soi 4 quite well, and Soi Cowboy. Am I missing anything by not going to Pat Pong or Koh San Road? But everyone's always said, don't bother. Just stick to the
Koh San Road. There's nothing there but backpackers and 20-year-olds getting drunk. There's nothing else there. Yeah. If you're not into that scene, no, you don't go there.
You still hear people saying, you cannot go to Bangkok without going to Koh San Road. But if it's full of young backpackers, then it's clearly not for me.
Everything's worth a visit once.
Let's just have a little look at the chat here. See who's saying what. Thomas Hancock. Yeah, Thomas Hancock. We sat around the spa with a girl in the middle on a platform. Up a platform, shooting ice cubes into our drinks. Sounds tasty. Damon, I met my wife in Nana Lollipops. Good for you, mate. Good for you.
Oh, I know that place.
Yeah. Pat, $1.299. Pat Pong is still good with the markets on. It's all closed down now, as is Soi Cowboy at the moment. I think everything's pretty closed, isn't it, right now? Bob Reed, it's been 20 Celsius in Bangkok this week. That's cool. That's cool. That is. Roy Gold. There's an interesting sex museum in Patpong. I don't know. I don't really. Apparently, there's an interesting one in Amsterdam as well, but I don't want to see that.
That just opened about a year right before COVID. That's actually really interesting. It's not really a sex museum. It's a history of Patpong museum. It's worth a visit.
You can call me dull, but I don't really want to see something like that. I'm not into toys, and all that kind of stuff, sex toys. That's not for. I am dull. You'd be amazed if you knew how dull I actually am. With regards to the rumpy pumpy stuff. I like a good old fashioned dirty massage, and that's about it. K-Pax, it's rubbish, Eddie. Okay, once you've seen it, I guess, but nothing that you haven't seen before. I don't really think I need to see that. Yeah. Let's see. Thailand bound. Okay. Nice to hear from you. Yeah. Patpong, overpriced Japanese and Korean bars now. Miss Washington Square bars, if you ever go there. No, I think, to be honest with you, I think if I return to Bangkok, I will just stick to the places I know. I really, really do like Soi 4, and I like Nana. I like Nana. Do you know something, Dave? Last time when the Antivirus really exploded, last time I was in Bangkok, I went to walk into the Nana Plaza area, and this when I wasn't used to what was happening. I still couldn't come to grips with this Antivirus, this bloody illness that everyone was going on about. And I went to walk into Nana Plaza, and one of the Thai blokes, the security, got the gun and pointed it right at my foot. I mean, get that bloody thing away from me! You're not shoving that. It was a temperature check. Well, I thought it just come as a surprise. Maybe I was a bit drunk at the time, but I thought, sod that, I'll go somewhere else. Let's see. Thailand backpacker. Tree Town. Who remembers the burger stall, the entrance to Nana? I'm pretty sure it's still there now. If you like burgers, there's tons of stuff still there now. Johnny B, Nana is the best place in Bangkok. I agree with that. I mean, that's the best place. I would go to Bangkok for Nana. I wouldn't exclusively go there for Soi Cowboy because I don't think it's as good as Walking Street, and it can be bloody expensive as well. Soi Cowboy. When you enter Soi Cowboy, on the right, the main entrance, on the right, there's a live band bar, and it's actually quite a small place, isn't it? Really, it's quite cramped there. There's a live band bar. Last time I was there, a beer, a 33CL Heineken was about 160 baht, which is about £4. So it's not cheap. Kippax, you've been to Chinatown, Eddie? Mate, if I'm out there again, I would love to go to some of the places I've never been before. I'd like to visit there. Okay. Nick Ross. Nice of you to make an appearance. Okay. Nice of you to make an appearance. That's all I'm going to say about Nick Ross. Bobby Webber. Loved it. Roger Lee. Okay. And Nick... In the old days, cameras were not allowed in Patpong. Now everyone has one. No, I think they have a phone now. They don't actually have a phone. I'm pretty sure if I went around Patpong with a bloody Canon G7X and pointed at people's face, they'd quickly let me know that I was doing something wrong. No, they got phones now. No actual cameras.
You can film there. It's just they don't want you sticking the camera into the go-go bars because they have the doors open.
Yeah, I mean, Thailand. I mean, Thailand and Bangkok. They're very, very hostile to the camera. You got a phone call there?
I don't need it.
Yeah, I mean, they're very, very hostile to the camera. I mean, before I knew better, a few years ago, I had I can't remember what kind of. It was quite a big Canon camera. It was actually before I was filming things for YouTube. I was like, I was sitting in the bar, Big Dogs or whatever the hell it was, in Nana of a daytime, and I didn't really know any better. And I pointed the camera out to the street while I was on, one of the one of the stills overlooking the street. I was putting the camera around the street, fine, and I turned it around to point it in the bar, not knowing any better. And like one of the waiters went, "No, no, no, back!" I think she should have held up a cross. Devil, devil. And I quickly realized, no, you don't go pointing cameras around the people because it causes murder. Obviously, there's probably guys in there who were married back home, and it causes trouble. Like you go pointing cameras there. I don't want to be filming people without their permission in future. I'll take the odd surreptitious shot, but that's about it.
Overloaded with YouTubers, in my opinion.
Yeah. What is it like now, though? I mean, I've heard right now that I've heard people saying that now there's too many YouTubers, too many vloggers going around Pattaya. What are they filming exactly?
Same thing. Let's look at all the closed bars.
Exactly. I don't want to be filming. I don't want to be filming closed bars. I'll tell you what I do. I'm going to have a nice little. It's not expensive stuff. It's only cheap and nasty. It's only cheap and nasty Blossom Mill. A nice little shot of red wine. I'm in a sort of red wine mood. I've got a very tempting Melton Mowbray pork pie there, but I'm not going to eat that just yet. I'll probably keep it for later after the show. Let's see. Graham Johnson, if you think you got 90 to pound, you were disillusioned. No, I don't ever remember 90 Thai baht to the pound, but I do remember, I would swear by it, 20 years ago, 73. 73
oh, it was.
It was.
The dollar was 45, 46. That's the most it ever was, because that's when the bank system in Thailand collapsed in 97.
Dave, can I just ask you a few things about America? You're in sunny California right now. I should have mentioned that to people earlier. Obviously, people have seen you before, but you are in sunny California. Here, we're in drizzling, freezing, cold, bloody depressing. I mean, I live in a rural part of the country in the south, and it's lovely countryside and all that. But when it rains and everything's terrible when it rains. So the question is, how is the weather where you are right now?
Oh, right now it's it's not sunny today, but it's 60.
60 is okay. 60 is pretty good. It's reasonable. It's not blazing hot. It's not blazing hot, but it's pretty good.
I live 2 miles from the beach, so it stays mild here. It's pretty consistent.
Yeah. And a question I wanted to ask you, Dave. In the last week, and I don't want to bang on about this too much, I've been having problems with my car. I thought I was going to be having a big one, the gearbox. I thought the gearbox in my car was gonna go. And I thought, oh, geez, this is the kind of, it costs a lot of money. What I've noticed that where I live, without a car, you are lost here. We're in a rural part of it. If you haven't got a car, you really, really are lost. You can't do anything. So what I want to ask you about where you live in America, is it the same with regards to transport? I mean, do you really, really, really need a car to get around?
I actually have the luxury of having 3 cars, but
that's a luxury.
In this area, you have to have a car because, we don't have subways and things like that. I mean, up in LA, they have all that stuff. You can kind of move around, but Southern California is so big that even with all that stuff, if you want to really do anything, you need a car.
Yeah, you do. I mean, it's like saying, if you're in a city and you're close to public transport, it's better. If I lived in London, and I did once live in London, great place to visit, terrible place to live in. But London is actually an easy place to get. If I lived in London again, I wouldn't have a car. I'd use public transport.
London, Tokyo, these kind of cities, you don't need no car.
Absolutely, the underground, it's a fantastic situation. But when you're living out in the countryside, it's lovely living in the countryside. But Jesus, if you haven't got a car, you really, really are lost. And I've been without a car for the last couple of days. I've got it back today, and it was nice to be behind the wheel again. So I mean, where you live, you couldn't really use public transport. Public transport wouldn't be good.
You can. There's buses going around. I've done them a couple times when I actually, sometimes when I go to the airport, I take a bus only to get me up to Metro. Yeah. But you can use it, but you're not going to go everywhere. You're excluded from 90% of the stuff with the buses.
Yeah. Absolutely. See, no, this is what I'm thinking. If I make the move, and it's still a possibility in a couple of years' time, if I do make the move of maybe moving out to somewhere like Thailand, I would have no ambition whatsoever to have a car because I don't think you need one. You don't need one, do you? You know, I mean, cars are wonderful. I love driving through the countryside on a sunny day, fantastic. But when the bloody gearbox of your car goes, and I was quoted £2,600 for it, which is about $3,500 for a reconditioned gearbox. You know, you quickly hate cars. I would quite happily live without a car if I was living in somewhere like Thailand. I'd be quite happy to get BART buses or taxis or whatever. In Bangkok, the taxis are still really, really great, brilliant value.
SkyTrain. I mean,
SkyTrain, absolutely.
They've expanded that system so much in the last 20 years. I mean, there's another 3 lines coming on next year, the orange, the yellow. I mean, it's fantastic now. I've never driven a car in Thailand. Never plan on doing it.
Yeah. So that would be one of the advantages of me. I mean, you know, I'm no lover of cars. I mean, it's you know, they're a necessity. But the I would like to. Well, I actually had a place out in Turkey once, for quite a while, and that is another place where you don't necessarily need a car to get around. They have a system of dolmus. It's like a little minibus, and my apartment was right outside the dolmus minibus station. If I wanted to go down to the beach or go into the town, you just hop on the dolmus, Bob's. You know, you simply do not need I must admit, I would like to live in a place where I don't need a car.
It's just like Pattaya, you know, with the Song Cows. I mean, my condo is right on the main road there, so I just walk right out to the front and hail a Song Cow. I don't need no damn car there.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh well, we waffled on about that subject. Let's have a little. Let's have a little look at the chat here. There's still 327 in the chat. We've been on for over an hour now. I'm drinking wine. I'll hold it up again. This cost me £6. It's actually quite nice. Now, I like a bit of wine. You know, I'm not a connoisseur. I'm not going for a bloody £100 bottle, especially the way that I drink it. But this is actually quite tasty. I seem to recall when I was in Benidorm last time, a few years ago, there was a little convenience shop next to the hotel where I was staying, and he kind of got used to me. Every night I was coming in buying bottles of Blossom Hill. It's tasty. One of those things you don't drink now and again. Phil Roberts, I went to Pong once. I got charged 10,000 baht. What was 10,000? That's about 250 quid for a full body wax. It was a total rip-off. Okay, I think that's a joke, that isn't it? A total rip. I think it's a joke.
But
did you catch the chat earlier, David, about body wax and all that?
Yeah,
I'm at the point now. I think when I made a video a few weeks ago, I introduced this StreamYards. When I introduced it, I was wearing what they call a white beater. I think it was in Crete at the time. I think people noticed the amount of hairs on my arms. It's bloody awful, especially in a hot climate. It starts sweating. So I've been thinking for a while of maybe getting a full body wax, but I'd only get a full body wax if I thought that was it. I'd never have to have another.
Once you start to wax, you got to keep it going. The only way to really do that is with laser hair removal, but it's really expensive.
Yeah, but is it permanent?
Yeah, the laser stuff is permanent. They're actually killing the hair cell, the follicles. They cannot grow back. Waxing, they're just pulling all the hairs out. They will grow all back.
I think I'd compromise. I think I might, if I'm out in Thailand or Cambodia, hopefully soon, I might just, get a few ladies to give me a good old wet shave on the whole body.
Hurts like hell.
I think that would be nice. I probably need one a week. It grows back after a few days. Let's see. But Bazuki, £5 in Sainsbury's. You got robbed. Somebody's telling me I paid £6 for this bottle in where did I buy it from? Where did I get it from? I can't even. Geez, I've had so many. I can't even remember. Was it the Co-op or was it Tesco? Something like that. This guy's telling me it's only £5 in Sainsbury's. Oh my God almighty, gutted, absolutely gutted. Okay. You got some great information in the chat here. Okay.
I ran out of HP sauce, Ed. I need to get some more HP sauce.
Yeah. Hey, I like it. Daddy's sauce. Is that the brown you mean?
Yeah.
Daddy's sauce.
HP sauce, right?
HP sauce, absolutely. Oh yeah, I love it. I like the nice daddy. I like the daddy's sauce personally. Anyway, so what do you reckon, David? We're all sort of worried now. Nobody is booking a flight to Thailand and thinking to themselves, "Oh, I'm counting the days. I can't wait. Brilliant, absolutely." But everyone's got a bit of a shadow of doubt in their mind, quite rightly so. So, what's your predictions for the new year, 2022? Do you think people are going to be going out there and having fun? And
I think it's eased up enough. I mean, I'm going to go, Ed. I mean, I'm just not going the same. I'm going to wait at least a couple more months to take care of some issues, but I'm planning late February, March. I am going to go. Yeah. So I think people are going to start going, and if they drop some more of the rigmarole, it's never going to return to what it was until they get rid of all that rigmarole.
But the thing is that, though, Dave, I mean, there's always a spanner to be thrown in the works. Like I said, just over a week or so ago, a couple of people messaged me on Facebook. Ed, have you heard the good news? They're dropping that first night's hotel in Thailand. Brilliant. They're dropping the PCR.
They brought it back.
And then 5 minutes later, they brought it back because of this onion variant. You never know what's happening next. The cases are going up here, and now people are saying that it's not as bad as what we first thought. You still don't know. I will celebrate when I'm actually let loose on the streets of Bangkok and be told that I can go and have a beer wherever I want. I can go and have a massage wherever I want. I can stay out drinking for as late as I want. That's when I'll celebrate.
Well, you saw Pattaya finally eased up on Friday. They can sell alcohol now.
Yeah, but what do you think of restaurants, though? I mean, that's in restaurants, isn't it? Really?
Well, yeah, it's in restaurants, but all the bars are quickly changing their licenses over to restaurants. I think it's going to stay like that for a long time, where you'll go into the bar and they'll just have a little thing in the corner where they can cook some food. Nobody will order it.
I must admit that I think and a lot of other people think Pattaya is being picked on. It's being it's being picked on for a reason, and everyone's got their reason about that. Personally, I think I might have spent too much time in Pattaya in my previous video. I would quite happily go to Phuket. I've been there before many years ago. It's not to everyone's taste. I mean, it's a lot more expensive, but I loved it when I was there about 18 years ago, whenever it was.
I go there every time I go. It's fantastic there.
Yeah, Pong, yeah, it's terrific. I really liked it. I had a great time there. I really liked it. And of course, getting I went on a date. I remember meeting a barmaid from one of the well-known bars in Bangla Road, and I brought her back to my hotel, and but she was very, very capricious. Even on the first night, she'd already made plans. I was going to help her father with his business. I was going to buy her mother a new overcoat. I was going to, she'd already made plans, without, and the following morning, we got up very, very early. I'd already made arrangements to go on a day trip to James Bond Island and another. And I remember sitting in the reception waiting for the bus to turn up at about 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I personally think the walking street in Patong is better than Pattaya.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that means it's full of life. I mean, it was last time I was there. But I remember sitting there in reception with this beautiful Thai girl, and lovely girl, beautiful girl, but very, very opportunistic. And as I'm waiting for my tour, for my bus to take me to the islands, I said to her, so what are you doing today then? What are you up to today then? She said, well, I was going to go to James Bond Island with you, but you've already made arrangements. I said, wait a minute, but I only met you last night, only met you last night. But the relationship there didn't last very long. She made so many arrangements. I thought, well, why don't you just write down a shopping list and then hand it to me, or I'll give you my PIN number, to my bank account or whatever. But lovely girl. But I must admit, I really did like Phuket when I seen it. I thought it was a
Well,
lovely place.
see, Ed, I didn't tell you, but the first time I went to Thailand, was on a kind of a grand tour of Asia,
Yeah,
and we stopped off in Bangkok for 4 or 5 days. Now I booked a tour, because wasn't from there and was a little scared and whatnot. So I booked a tour with a tour guide. Well, I ended up having a relationship with her for 3 years.
yeah, really, yeah.
Yeah, straight up with that. Long distance relationship. I used to go back all the time and stay with her.
Well, sounds good. Sounds good to me. No problem with that at all. No problem with that at all. I wouldn't mind having a relay. I think it'd be, to be honest with you, I think if I had a relationship out that part of the world, I think it'd probably more likely be with a Cambodian girl. I got to like Cambodia an awful lot. And there's something about the Cambodian girls. I know, bar girls and whatever. It's an altogether, it's a dodgy issue. But some of those Cambodian girls, they're really great girls. They're terrific.
Yeah.
They're such good people out there. I really do like that place a lot.
I like Cambodia too. I like it just as much as you. I go there every time, when I need to hop out and hop in to get my visa, popped up again. But I love going to Phnom Penh. I go to all those same areas you talk about on there. I stay right down there.
Yeah, I mean, I first heard about Cambodia. Well, no, other than the obvious stuff about 1970s when it was on the news and the killing fields and all that kind of stuff. But as a traveller, I first heard of Cambodia as a place where people from Thailand go there, hop over the border to renew their visa. And even after I got to know Cambodia really well and spent a fair bit of time there, I was still hearing people saying, "Oh, I've been to Cambodia." I said, "Where did you go?" "Well, I went over to Poi Pet and I, stayed the night and renewed my visa and then come back in." No,
yeah.
that's not going to Cambodia. If you actually stay in Cambodia for a while, for months, then it's the people. It is the people that win you over.
I remember you mentioning Myanmar, that you didn't get the chance to go into Myanmar. Well, I actually went in there, and I found it fantastic. I mean, they don't have the night entertainment that's not allowed there, none of that stuff, but the people and everything are fantastic there.
When did I try and go to Myanmar? I'll tell you when I tried to go there, about 6 or 7 years ago. I was actually in Pattaya. I'd been my few months in Thailand, and I was actually around. I got off the plane and got a taxi straight to Pattaya. I was there for a few days, and I thought, this is it. This is the time. I've got to go to Myanmar because that is going to be somewhere I've never been. I'm going to go there. I've been to the other place that I want to go to. I want to go there. I went into a little travel agent because I wasn't really. This was actually before I was using the internet a great deal. I went to a little travel agent and said, "Look, trying to arrange a visit for Myanmar for me and all that." And he basically said, you should have arranged a visa back in your own country before you come in. And I got really frustrated. And I remember feeling really disappointed. I remember walking along the beach in Pattaya, feeling really gutted, and because I saw my Myanmar dream, my Burma dream going out of the window. I felt really disappointed, and I remember looking around and Pattaya and thinking, how can you be disappointed in an environment like this? But I really had my heart set on going to Myanmar or Burma. I was really looking forward to that, and it just seemed that visa was such a problem for me. I thought, to hell with it. So I think
you went to the wrong place. I mean, I went to the Burmese or Myanmar embassy right there in Bangkok, dropped my passport off in the morning, came back after 3 and had the visa.
Yeah, that's good. That's obviously what I should have done. But now it looks like it's got a lot of problems now, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can't go there now.
No, I couldn't go there now. I couldn't even. It was on the news today. It's not the place to go right now.
I actually got to see Aung San Suu Kyi when I was there too.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, we got caught right there in Yangon when she was coming in. I was in the tour bus with my drivers, and we all got shoved off the road. And I said, "What's going on?" And he said, "Aung San Suu Kyi, she's coming right now." Yeah. And she drove right by me in the car, and then I watched her give a speech right there at when she was opening that party, the NLD party, when she was running for president.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it was fantastic. It was great.
yeah, that's what travel is. That is what travel is all about. I do miss the fact that I've never actually been to Burma. I would love to try that, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Right now,
How about
right
Laos?
now.
Have you been to Laos?
I went to Laos. I've only been there once. I think I spent about 3.5 weeks there. I crossed over from the border I'd done my time in Cambodia and crossed over the border. One of those nice little border towns. Can't remember what it's called now in Cambodia. And you cross over into Laos. And it's the first place I stopped off in was, is it called the 4,000 Islands? Do you know that place in the south, one end of Laos, and I think it's called the 4,000. It's inland, but it's a beautiful place, and there's tiny little islands there. A lot of young, but very very young backpacker types were there, but it was beautiful. But then I went through a couple of rather bland towns, and then ended up in Vientiane, which is a lot of young. What's that place? Is it called Vientiane? Is that the place where all these young backpacker types sit around watching Friends?
The place you want to go is, and I recommend to everybody that's watching, is Luang Prabang.
Luang Prabang. I have been there. I've been there.
Yeah, that's fantastic there.
It is a beautiful little place. It's a beautiful little place. I think I do like going to old historical places. Vietnam has Hoi An. Luang Prabang is very chill. I thought it was a little bit. It was a beautiful place, but a little bit too chilled out for me. I still like. It was the bars closed so early there and everything, but lovely place, and I like the caves nearby.
Yeah,
the river. It was a beautiful place. Absolutely beautiful place.
Yeah, you go there to relax. You go. I went for 4 nights just to chill out and experience it, and then went back to Thailand. But I recommend it to everyone.
Absolutely. I mean, out of the historical places, the historical little towns, I would prefer Hoi An. I've been there quite a few times. I like that place. But Luang Prabang, lovely place. I'd love to get to know that better. And I love the little cave walks and the landscape. Gorgeous place. But there's a couple more towns. One of them is Vientiane. I think that's the time where all those young people sit around in bars all day watching that program Friends. You can walk around the town, and just that program Friends. They're sitting there of a daytime watching this thing in little bars. And well, that's exciting, isn't it? And
I hated that show.
I never watched it. I think the bloody theme tune was enough to put me off. So cheesy. But what is the capital there? Vientiane. That was probably the most capital city I think I've ever been in. It's more like a town, really.
Pretty boring there.
Yeah, a bit boring. But there was another place, Pat Beng. But what the big highlight of Laos for me was getting on a boat for a couple of days. And I think I stopped off at Pat Beng. Actually, I think I stopped off for a couple of nights. I went right through on the Mekong on a slow boat. And that was really, really beautiful. That was really, really nice. But I must admit with Laos, and I've said this before, Laos is bordered by Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, and maybe this is just me, but all of the people in those other countries seem to have a lot more personality than the Lao people. It was like as if they hadn't really learned how to have a personality yet. They were very nondescript. I spent about 3.5 weeks going through Laos, and I can't actually remember the people there having a great deal of personality. No real incidents where I thought that's a great, lovely, charming person. These I don't know. This is like robotic in a way, but maybe that's just me. Maybe
well, you go to Chiang Mai, don't you?
Chiang Mai's a great place.
Yeah, I love it up there.
I actually when I finished in Laos, I actually what is the town right at the north of Laos? I went over to Chiang Mai. That's when I went back into Thailand.
Chiang Rai, and then Mae Sot is the border town with Myanmar.
Is that in Laos, is it?
No, Myanmar.
Myanmar. Well, I went from Laos into I got back into Thailand via Chiang Mai.
Okay.
Or did I can't actually remember how did I get there? Did I get a bus? Did I get a boat? I can't actually remember that. I can't actually remember it.
I never do land crossing, so I don't know. I always fly.
I like land crossings. I must admit, the land crossing between Thailand and Cambodia, there's two of those border crossings. One of them, I think it's Koh Kong, is really quite dodgy, full of shady people wanting your passport. But the other one, Poi Pet, I've done that many times. You know, if you were in Pattaya, you could leave your hotel in Pattaya at 8 o'clock in the morning, head to the border of Cambodia, wait in the queue to get your ticket, and you could arrive in your hotel in Siam Reap at about 5:30 in the evening. All done by road. That's about 9.5 hours. That's a dollar. It's easy.
They've changed the rules and all that the last few years. If you come in by land now, you only get a 15-day visa.
Really. So I think the last time I did that,
you can only do it 2 times a year. The Thais are monitoring all that. They've clamped down on all those visa dodgers and overstayers, and they don't want people shuffling over the border and coming back. They've changed it all now.
Yeah. No. Okay, I'm going to listen. I'm going to have a little look at the chat here, because I've ignored the chat for a while. Apologies if I've ignored anyway. Roy Gold, Laos is well worth visiting. It's a lovely place. That 4,000 islands area in the I think the south of the country was absolutely beautiful. Lovely stuff. But I think that's got a higher proportion. I think with Laos, it's got a higher proportion of young backpackers than those other neighbouring countries. That's the way it seemed to me. It seemed like the young people like Laos a lot better. Bobby Webber, Vietnam hands down over Cambodia. Saigon is awesome city. Beats to the north are great. Terrific. Are they open right now? I mean, I don't think they are really. Let's see. Nick Ross, Eddie, have you ever been to Nagambo Beach in Sri Lanka? I've never actually been to Sri Lanka, Nick. Ricky, David Kiernan is Big Dave in Thailand now. Big Dave is in sunny California right now. He's looking forward to going to Thailand when the time is right. Hopefully, when the wind is in the right direction. Isn't that right, Dave? You're looking forward to seeing your condo again and having fun. We're all looking forward to going out there today.
It's kind of amazing. I own a condo that I haven't seen in 22 months now or something.
Yeah. I bet you're missing it. Let's see. Wolves, you. Went to a big. Always wondered maybe for another visit. I'd like to go to Thailand, go Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia for the trip, then finish back in Thailand. Sugarcane. Always wondered maybe for another video. I'd like to base in Thailand, go to Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia for the trip, then finish back in Thailand. Can it be done on a holiday? Of course, under normal circumstances, it can be done. The problem is these are not normal circumstances right now. They're not normal circumstances. It can be done, but you're not going to do that in 2 weeks. You would need you'd need a couple of months. You certainly need a couple of months to do that justice. But let's hope normal times return.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Vietnam, Ed.
Vietnam.
Yeah, you like we didn't talk about Vietnam, Ed. You love it there. I love it there. I've been to 10 places in Vietnam. It's great.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, Vietnam's a terrific country. It's a terrific country. It is a marvelous country. I've been there quite a lot of times, and I would go there again tomorrow. I think there's a couple of things that disappoint me over Vietnam over the years. One of them is that some years ago, Nha Trang was tipped to become the Pattaya of Vietnam. That never really happened. The Russians sort of overtook Nha Trang, and also the town centre of Nha Trang. It's really quite grim. It always was. It's never really improved. But it's a beautiful beach. A lot of good things about Nha Trang. But really, the last time I was there, and it was 2 years ago when I was there. I think really, if you're not Russian, then you don't really fit in there in Nha Trang, Dave.
Go to Da Nang. Da Nang.
I went there as well.
Yeah.
Da Nang, it didn't seem to me to be very well developed just yet. It's a city. There's a lot of building work going on there.
They've got a Ritz-Carlton there now.
Yeah. It's nice enough place, being a pleasant enough place. But I must admit, I do like the first place I ever visited in Vietnam was Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon. And you had to visit that, and that just blew my mind when I first went there. But the friendliness of the people and how wonderful it was, absolutely amazing. But I think now, the last time I was there, the area called Phenom Glau Street was the well-known bar area, very, very road edge bar area. But now the neighbouring place of Vientiane, it looks more like bloody somewhere like Las Vegas, the bright lights and everything right now. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'd go there tomorrow, but it's Vietnam. I think a lot of these places are losing the plot. Basically, they're all losing the plot. But Vietnam's still great. It's still a great place. I must admit, I've been to Hanoi twice. Once was years ago, and the other time I went there was quite recently. And I stayed there for a couple of weeks in Hanoi in the same hotel close to the old quarter. And it's a terrific little town. Do you know what one it is about Vietnam, Hanoi, I should say, is that I was last there probably about 18 years ago. And then I visited again about 2 years ago, or maybe a little bit more, just over 2 years ago. A big difference, because when I went to Hanoi, the people there were not very friendly, and I did meet a lot of Westerners saying that these were the original North Vietnamese who were hostile to the Westerners, and it was true. A lot of them were not very friendly. A lot of scams around every corner in Hanoi, and because I'd already been to Saigon previously, and Hanoi was just not as friendly as a place. But I went there a couple of years ago, and it's a younger generation now, and they were terrific. The people that you meet there now are terrific. Old hostilities are a thing of the past. It's a younger generation, and like the British younger generation, they don't want to talk about wars or anything like that. That's all a thing of the past. They want to go out and party. And I must admit, for the 2 weeks that I stayed in Hanoi, I loved it. Very, very relaxing. I loved it. Terrific place.
Yeah, it's a different vibe up there. Unfortunately, they still don't treat the South Vietnamese quite well. I mean, they consider them all traitors.
Yeah. Well, there's those that probably comes from the parents. I mean, I think the younger folk now. I mean, it's like in England. The attitude of the younger people is a lot different than the previous generations, because it's probably very different. But I thought that of a nighttime I was sitting on a little stool in a pavement with young Vietnamese people, in the middle of the night drinking beer, and they were great. They were really, really great. Yeah, Vietnam is a great country. Love it, absolutely love it. Let's have a little look at the chat. We've just gone over 1.5 hours now. Anyway, I hope everybody who's here, I hope you appreciate Dave. Is there anything that I haven't said mentioned about David, which I should have mentioned? He's in California right now. He's a former NASA scientist. Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk in depth about that subject. That's probably a big issue, a big, massive issue, which I'm sure people will be really interested in. But for right now, we just want to get out to Thailand and start partying again. Right?
Yeah, I'm tired of drinking beer at home, Ed.
I don't ever get tired of bloody drinking too much. Absolutely. Do you know something? I know that you like a lot of British TV and all that kind of stuff. What I was watching over the course of the weekend on YouTube, some of those, because obviously I've been stuck at home over the weekend without a car because I was in the garage. But I was, over the course of the weekend, I've been watching some things on YouTube. And one of the things I dug out was some old interviews from that wonderful, and he was a very talented British actor called Oliver Reed. Now, are you familiar with Oliver Reed?
No.
You don't know of Oliver Reed?
I might have heard the name, but I don't know a show or anything about that.
Oliver Reed, he was not in many. He was a very famous British actor from the 60s and 70s and 80s. His last movie was actually a bit part in Gladiator. I think he was the slave owner, and he actually died during the making of that film because he was a terrible alcoholic. But Oliver Reed is like a British institution. I mean, he's remembered more for his alcoholism rather than his acting. He was in a lot of B movies in the 60s and 70s. Very famous actor. Not really many classic movies. I'd say that the best one that he was in the film version of Oliver, you know, the musical,
Oh yeah.
like the perfect Bill Sykes, very, very charismatic actor. But he actually became more famous in Britain for his alcoholism and appearing on chat shows. And I watched one, you know, over the weekend. Over the weekend, I watched a Notorious interview from 1987 when Michael Aspel interviewed him. And Oliver Reed, this very famous British actor, came on absolutely pissed. And he got up and he danced and he acted like a real barroom brawler. So the kind of barroom alcoholic that you would go anywhere to try and avoid. But Oliver Reed actually became more famous for being drunk on chat shows, and that bothered him really because he wanted to be famous for it. He was a very fine actor, but I watched it, you know, a little bit, and I was just thinking, you know, I'm inviting people onto this chat show. Wouldn't it be wonderful to have someone like Oliver Reed?
Yeah, I'm the Benny Hill fan.
Oh, Benny Hill's wonderful.
I thought the guy was a genius.
Absolutely funny. He was his own man. He was the complete package. No one was like Benny Hill. He was the traditional seaside postcard image with his smutty humour and his double entendres. But he was one, and apparently become really. Do you know something, David? I mean, in the 1980s, I mean, and people bang on about this woke culture now. People bang on about this woke culture, which is dreadful. But in the 1980s, we had all these, you know, alternative comedians, these politically correct, non-sexist sort of comedians come along, and they slagged down Benny Hill. They said he's old hat, he's sexist and all that. I'll give you a quick statistic. By the year 1990, there was something like, I think the figure is something like, there were 90 countries, 90 around the world that were regularly showing the Benny Hill show. Mm-hmm. Britain was not one of them. He deemed to be too sexist, so we didn't want, and that broke his heart after a while. And you know, he died because, you know, he felt nobody loved him anymore. Really, it was very, very sad. Anyway, let me just mention a little bit before we go any further. Stephen O'Connor. Now he lives in Phnom Penh. Good chat, Eddie. Well, sorry, I got to leave. Work starts soon. It's a chilly day here. In Phnom Penh, about 22 Celsius here. Have a great day. Have a great day. Oliver Reed, Richard Addison, Peter O'Toole, the terrific trio. Absolutely. Oliver Reed, Richard, all great British actors, all alcoholics. Anyway, have a great day, Steve O'Connor. Okay, nice to hear from you, mate. Do you have actors in America who do you have alcoholic actors who America has affection for?
Not really. The last big one was way back with Dean Martin and all that stuff. You know,
Dean Martin, they
frown upon that stuff, you know, in America, about drinking on TV and doing all that stuff.
We love it. We love it here. I mean, one of the most famous the most famous British footballer of all time. He was actually Northern Ireland, was George Best, and he was another alcoholic. But people, it's sad that, you know, people tend to remember him a lot for his alcoholic appearances on chat shows and all that. I think with regards to America, one of my favorite actors of all time is got to be Lee Marvin, and he had a wonderful, absolutely wonderful, charismatic actor. But I think
he did that movie Emperor of the North with Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah, I mean, he did a lot of great movies. I mean, including Cat Ballou. I think he won an Oscar for Cat Ballou. But I think actually Lee Marvin actually became a buddy of Oliver Reed's. I mean, two alcoholics together.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, Lee Marvin, Oliver Reed, he's mentioned Lee Marvin in quite a few of his chat shows. They actually became, I don't know if they were in a film, I think they must have been, but I can't remember, you know, which movie it was. Bobby Webber. Eddie turned down a James Bond role because he was going to Pattaya instead. Okay, fine, thank you. SOS Chris, Oliver Reed had a rompy-pompy with Susanna George. I think he means Susan George. Which movie was that? I can't think of that one that he was in with Susan George. Tom, Terry, we have an alcohol problem in Britain. We have an alcohol problem. A lot of our most cherished actors. Somebody mentioned Peter O'Toole, Richard Harris, Oliver Reed. They were all hardcore alcoholics. You know, they were, but we have affection for them now. But when I watched that TV chat show of Oliver Reed in the 1980s, absolutely hilarious. You know,
I was
so
watching that episode of the Goodies. They came out in the disc, so I've been rewatching them, and they did that one where they went down to South Africa, and because all the colored people immigrated out, they decided to institute a new segregation policy called apartheid.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
Jesus.
amazing what they got away with, on TV back then. You could never do a show like that now.
Dave, I know that you know some British TV shows which weren't available in America, but I think you might as well suss them out. If ever you get the chance, you probably can get episodes of it on YouTube somewhere. A show from the 1970s called Love Thy Neighbor.
Okay, I've heard of it.
I'll tell you what, I used to watch it when I was a kid in the 1970s. It was basically about a white guy a black family moved next door to them. I'm not going to go into any more detail on that, but if you look at that program, the language that was used, the racist language, there will be
amazing.
There'll be public outcry if anything like that appeared nowadays. It was a funny movie, but I mean, some things, don't deserve to be a victim of political correctness. I think something like Love Thy Neighbor, I wouldn't want to see a problem like that again, but it's interesting to see what they got away with in them days. It really is. Let's see. What's happening with Gary? Dean Martin's drinking was all part of his act. He was never really drunk on camera.
I heard that too.
Yeah, really, it probably was. He probably a clever enough guy. What I didn't like, a moment I didn't like about Dean Martin is when he slagged down a very, very young band who appeared on his show, a very young band called the Rolling Stones. There's a scene where Dean Martin really, ridicules him for having long hair and low foreheads, and they were really hurt, the Rolling Stones, when he appeared on their show. They were only kids at the time. I thought, what did Dean Martin say? That was the Rolling Stones. Wasn't that great? He said in the sarcastic way. He says, well, I've been rolled when I've been stoned many a time. And the Rolling Stones were actually very hurt when they appeared in this American chat show with Dean Martin. They were very, very hurt about that. But as Keith Richards said years later, if he'd have known what was going to come, he would have thought twice before he put them down. Anyway, we've been waffling on now for an hour and 42 minutes. Dave, it's your second appearance on here. I was hoping to get somebody else. I will do sometime because with this StreamYard, I can now have two people, me and someone else. But also, it'd be nice to have a third person on. And we'll do things. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we sign off?
Well, anybody have questions in the chat about anything?
Anyone in the chat have any questions about anything?
I was an astrophysicist for 15 years.
Astrophysicist for 15 years?
Mm-hmm.
That'll be fun. By the way, before I forget, Aaron, I got a super chat. Looking forward to following your trip back to Thailand. Thanks for that super chat, Aaron. I appreciate that. That's dollar. So clearly, Aaron's in America. The US is far. Let's see. The US has been whatever. Tom, Alf Garnett. Yeah, we had all kinds of famous. Alf Garnett was not the name of the actor; it was the name of the character played by Warren Mitchell, who himself was very, very unpolitically correct. But when you look at the woke situation that we have in this day and age, if you look back at the likes of Alf Garnett and Love Thy Neighbor, it was like a different world. I mean, you wonder how they got away with it. Okay. So listen, Coco Road's got a question for you. Wildest night in Pattaya, Big Dave. What was your wildest night in Pattaya?
Oh my God. I mean, I don't know if I could say that on here.
The answer.
Are we talking, one night? There was usually one or two per trip that wound up like that. But I remember, let's just say, meeting 4 different people in one day and going till 5 or 6 in the morning.
Okay, I think we can use our imagination and suss out what that one was all about. Okay. Sounds pretty good. Hopefully all those other people. Hopefully, all of those other people were all female.
Well, and the funny thing was, we went to that what is it, that Hollywood disco or whatever, and we went there, and then somebody else tried picking me up while I was there, and it turned into a little cat fight.
Yeah,
So
really.
I left with somebody that I didn't arrive with.
Well, it does it does it does happen. It does happen. I had a situation. I think it was in Phuket where I was at a bar and I didn't really like the look of the girls very very much. And this beautiful little chick appears out of nowhere, and she said to me, she said, "Which of these girls do you like? Which of these girls?" I said, "What? I don't want them. I want you. I want you." So I ended up going with her. And I remember later I was in the Jeep, going back to the hotel, and she was kind of worried. Oh, I don't think those girls are going to be very happy with me. Honestly, if you've seen this chick, and you've seen the other girls that you would want, So
Should I tell you my Ladyboy story, Ed?
Go on. Yeah, let's hear about your Ladyboy story.
Was the first time in Bangkok again, first trip, and that girl was my tour guide, and it was in Pong, and she asked me, do I want to go to a go-go bar? And I said, yeah, sure. So she took me to one of those ones called King's Castle over there, and apparently the word king is the giveaway in there. Yeah. And we were sitting in there, and she did the same thing. She said, "You like any of these girls?" I mean, I was like, "Yeah, there's a lot of really fantastic girls here." And then she said, "They're all guys." And I said, "No way, I don't believe it." She pulled one of them down off the stage, and she said, "Show them what you got." So that's how I was punked.
Yeah, Dave. With regards to Ladyboys, I mean, I each to their own. I'm not against them, and I'm sure a lot of these Ladyboys. It's all good for. I was shocked when I first seen them, many years ago. But it's they are what they are, and like they look funny, and some of them are probably nice people, and whatever it's all about. But I must admit, Dave. You can think Ladyboys are cool and all that, but I was in one bar in Soi Cowboy, and there was another Ladyboy bar next, and one of the Ladyboys got on a table and started dancing. Yeah, okay, and then this Ladyboy pulled up his her skirt and revealed the not so lady bits, and, and honestly, it turned my stomach. I thought, it turned my stomach. I thought, lady, I'll tolerate them, but I don't want.
I don't have any problem with them. I'm not prejudiced against anything like that.
Yeah.
I've talked to a lot of them. I have a couple of friends over there that are that, but I don't know. Some people get very offended over it. I don't know why.
I don't get it. I'm broad-minded enough, but like you say, in moments when you think they're all right, these ladies, but let's live and let live. But in certain, you do come across certain moments, like the bit where this person revealed, his not so lady, his manly bits underneath. I can do without that. And also, in the early hours of the morning, when you've had a fair bit of drink, you're walking back to your hotel in Sober Cow. Without a girl, and you pass these Ladyboys and they start shouting vulgar comments at you. You think, "Oh no, I can do without that." Probably a lot of them are really, really, really good people, but it's like anything. It's the few that and not so good, Okay, listen, I'm going to wrap things up, David. With an hour, I usually only do 90 minutes, but you've come on tonight. You've been really, really great. You've been great company anyway, and you will come on again, won't you?
Of course, I'm always on your live streams. You just sometimes you don't see me, but if I'm home, I'm there.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. See, right now, I mean, what my live streams, I like to. There's always something to talk about. Things happen. Right now, it's a little bit quiet in the travel scene. I think we're half waiting for the bombshell to drop. Like, the onion variant all of a sudden has exploded, and you never know what's coming out. All as I know is right now. Personally, I've got like 4 weeks to go before I'm due to fly. The idea of the Thai visa, the 90-day visa, the way I'm looking at it, I'm hoping that I won't need that. I'm hoping that I can spend a month in Thailand, a month in Cambodia, and then the last month in Thailand. I'm hoping I can do it, which is similar to what I've done before. But we'll see.
Well, there's no such thing as a 90. Well, I guess there is now, but in the old days, you used to get a 60-day visa and then you got a 30-day extension.
Yeah.
But they have this thing now called that special tourist visa, which I think is like 9 months now or something. That a couple of those YouTubers on there have it. That Keys One guy and that Dan the Man. They're all on that special tourist visa. But yeah, do it your way, Ed. That's what I like to do. Just pop in with a 30-day stamp and just hop out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I must admit, I must admit, another visit to Cambodia, which is a country that I had a lot of affection for so many years. I really, really got to like that place. Another visit to Cambodia is long overdue for me, so I would love to visit that place again.
Oh, for sure. I'm waiting to go back there too.
I'm hoping I won't need to bother, worry too much about visas. Just the ordinary 30-day visa while I'm there. So anyway, so I'm not going to worry about visas just yet. What I am hoping to do is to get that Thailand pass out of the way with and everything. And then, oh well, if the wind's in the right direction.
Yeah, you've got your flight booked already. What, direct UK to Bangkok?
No, it's not a direct flight. I'm not so sure about it. There aren't many direct flights going now. I've got an indirect flight, but it's a really. What I will say about my flight is that my flight is with a very, very reputable airline, very reputable, and it's also great value, terrific value. So the only thing that bothers me, I'm repeating myself, but I cannot stand that bloody PCR within 72 hours. I hate that. That is the kind of stress. That is the one niggling thing that gives me more stress than anything, and I really can do without that. Just have a little look at the chat. Okay. Wiggle there says, nice that you're having guests on now, Eddie. Okay, thank you. Roy Go, many more people are coming now, guys. Pinball said, Big Dave's been a great guest tonight. I agree. It's terrific. It's really great to have you, Dave. Really. There's a lot more things we'll talk about. We'll talk about, including, the possibility of a Christmas special. I just said that to a couple of other people. If you pop in or even do a little video like to say hello over Christmas or whatever. Tom. Paul Hayes, agree, great guest. Okay, that's terrific. They love you, Dave. They really, really like it.
Thank you.
So I'm going to say, Kipax, good guest tonight. Thanks. Okay, listen, I'm going to wrap things up now. One thing I haven't done tonight, but I am going to do it because I'm absolutely hungry for it, is the pork pie. I'm legendary I am the pork pie man. I don't think another live streamer had ever actually had the audacity to bring pork pies on a live stream and start eating them in front of them, but it's become the choice. But I'm going to wait till everything finishes to talk into that one. Listen, Dave. I will say good night. I'll say good night to everybody. Thanks. We'll be back on Thursday. I'll be back on Thursday. What's going to happen from now to then? Whatever. At the end of the day, even if nothing happens, it's all about coming together, having a chat, and like I've said before, if there's any developments that make us miserable, then at least we can be miserable together. Okay? Anyway, cheers. Good night to Dave. Good night to everybody. Okay? All the best. See you soon anyway, Dave. I'll keep in touch with you on Facebook. There you go. Okay, good night, everybody. Ernest Connell, Christmas special requires song and dance. I'll give you the song, but I'm not dancing. Coco Rowe, good show, boys. Thank you. Kipax, good night to you all. Good night to everybody. I'll see you Thursday, 10 p.m. UK time. All the best. Cheers.